right, so welcome, Iona, Elaine, to this session of the Art of Letting Go course. So just to start with, anything to check in on? Iona, you already did a little one. Anything else you want to share?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, good. Elaine?
What happened there?
I just enabled all the windows.
Okay, yeah. Something happened there, I don't know. Yeah, as I say, I'm just sort of, I'm battling to get into a rhythm, if you know what I mean. I sort of feel like I'm drowning a bit. Although what I have done, there's been a lot of other things I've been needing to do as well, is I had practiced the breathing. Okay, but with 10 seconds. And I can actually do it quite comfortably. Well, yeah, I'm still on 10. Actually, what I've worked out is I went from 10 to 15, which was too much of a jump.
Okay.
And then I thought, okay, let me go back to 10. And I thought, okay, and I did it once or twice. And then it's sort of like the third time I started getting a bit out of rhythm. And, you know, but I started to notice where I'm battling. Like it's never on the in breath or the in hold. It's always on the out breath, and particularly on the next in breath. Because that's when we were explaining is, you know, the oxygen, low oxygen levels. So, you know, I'm just going to, I think, but I'm starting to understand that what we're trying to do here is change the rhythm of the ratio rhythm of the breath. And then once you're comfortable, then you are in a position with this technique to hold the breath right much longer.
Yeah, it does get easier. And are you holding 15 seconds between the exhale and each inhale?
No, I'm doing that. There are 4 sections, right? There's breathe in. So breathe in 15, hold 15, breathe out 15. Oh, yes, and then hold 15. So I see it as a 4 sequence, but maybe it's actually a 3. I don't know. No, it's 4. It's in and hold.
You'll struggle to make it a 15-second inhale because that's a very long inhale. But you know, try and make it.
That's easy. No, but I mean it has to be even anyway. So whatever it is. So 10, breathe in for 10, hold for 10, breathe out. And I'm trying to do it sort of steadily. So that count of 10, I'm actually counting.
Okay.
You know, so that I don't find that I'm sort of still got breath in me at 8. You know, I'm completely out of breath at 8. So trying to just get that even. I have no problem with the in breath, comes quite naturally, and the hold. But the out breath and the hold and the out breath, finding is requiring quite a bit of work to just get comfortable with it.
Yeah, well, that's good. It's a practice. That's why it's called a practice, because you need to practice it.
Well, I'm very proud to say that I have actually practiced it a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's good.
And I'm just kind of becoming aware of it. Like when I went to yoga this morning.
Yeah.
I'm becoming more aware of my breathing, just in general. So
that's very good. Just breath awareness. Can take you a long way. And the Buddha's primary tool for enlightenment was breath. Just observing the breath, and then you start with that, and then you move to observing sensations in the body. Brings you into this awareness of, okay, what is going on in the now emotionally. So it's a way into your emotions and a way to start letting go of some of those negative emotions that are often just subconscious. So he found a way in. When I did the Vipassana, it's really interesting. I was like, suddenly I clicked. I was like, yeah, I knew about Buddhist theory and, you know, the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Way, and you know, it's like, okay, it's all good. And then I did the Vipassana, and this is what he originally taught. I was suddenly like, okay, I get the key of this. I get it. I get what Buddha saw. You see, what he saw was, if you can observe breath and you can observe sensation, this is a way into the mind to start getting to be aware of these emotions that in most people are unconscious. They're just happening and they're running the program. The emotions happen, they fire off, people have the emotional reaction, there's no awareness of it, and the emotion controls it.
So you're saying that he said that if you observe breath and emotions, you can get
Sensation, see?
and
Observe the
sensations.
sensation. How do you observe an emotion directly? But you can observe a sensation.
The emotions are linked to the sensations.
Yes, and he said
you've got to observe the sensations.
That's
too.
the insight. It's a true insight. If you have any strong emotion, there's always a sensation in the body, isn't there? Always. And so now observe the sensation. You're observing the effect of the emotion. Right? So that's
no matter what it is, whether it's an ache in your shoulder or whatever, it's associated with an emotion.
Yeah, this is ultimately the teaching. Even a physical pain. Okay, so observe that. And if you just observe that equanimously, you will find that whatever the cause of it is, which is on a mental, emotional level, will tend to dissipate. So he found a focus point. Said, you can become aware of this, and you can just observe it and let it go. So you've got a raging pain in your back or your shoulder or something. Instead of like going, oh, this is terrible, this is pain, it's awful, and you create a whole story around it, you just observe the sensation. I'll give you my experiential realization of this. So we're in meditation. It's like the 4th day of the Vipassana retreat. And they say, right, now we're doing an hour of determined sittings of strong determination, they call, where you're not supposed to move for an hour. Okay. So set myself in, then 5 minutes into it, the guy's saying, okay, it's 1 hour and just don't move. And I'm like, okay, well, actually I'm quite uncomfortable because I, for some reason, changed my posture a bit. And I can feel my hip is like, this is going to be a little bit challenging. So I was tempted to just move and go, okay, well, now I'll move now. But I thought, no, you know what? I'm just going to sit with this. I'm going to practice what they're saying. I'm going to sit down and observe it. And I really got it. I was like, this is just a sensation. That's what's going on here. It feels kind of, there's some heat and some pressure. And if I don't label it as pain and I don't make it into something that's a problem in my mind, I come to that point. So you scan your whole body, come to that point, and I just observe it. And it's just a sensation. There's like a gross sensation going on. It's like a burning, a pain, whatever. Didn't label it as a pain, just a sensation. And then I'll move through that and go down the leg. And by doing that, I could do it for an hour. I was like, okay, well, that was really interesting because it's a mental interpretation of the sensation. That's the problem.
So what did he say? So once you can observe it and you can, once you can observe it, then what?
Well, you come to a state.
Does it help you with the unconscious? Did you say something about that? It's a way of undoing the unconscious program if you can. Observe it and just acknowledge it.
Well, it's what are you doing? You actually letting go of the mental and emotional attachment to that. See, so our thoughts and then our emotions create this attachment. Now we have the Buddha called it desire. We have an expectation that something should be different than what it is. We have aversion and craving. And these move us away from that nice, calm, centered peace.
For me, it can be a fear about this particular thing I've got going on in my right shoulder because I'm very right-handed and I paint a lot. And the fear is that if I seize up in my right shoulder, that's my income. So I've attached so much importance to this arm being pain-free that actually it's worse than ever.
Yeah.
And it's deep in the trapezius muscle here. So my task is to release the fear about this arm and send, when I'm in the meditation, the morning meditation, which is deeply useful, I'm sending white and golden light into this shoulder and down this arm and releasing it. The upsetting thing is that in the night, it can wake me. the pain wakes me pretty much every morning. So I would love to be able to have the solid, pain-free sleep and peaceful awakening.
So even that is an expectation, see?
Yes.
Subtle, but watch it. Because we expect that something should be different than what it is. That's the expectation.
And is it okay to have expectancy?
Well, the ultimate teaching is no, all expectation will lead to suffering, because you expect it to be some way, and then it's not that way. And now the mind set up a pattern of being dissatisfied. You're not satisfied with the reality because I expect it to be different, you see?
Yeah.
And what the Buddha noticed was, look, you've got to drop all these expectations, because if you keep expecting and keep being dissatisfied, this is just going to keep you in this pattern of the ego, being suffering. And it keeps wanting you to set up expectations so that you keep being dissatisfied and you never reach that calm equanimity of like, I just am that I am, and everything is fine as I am. The mind's always trying to move you. Ego is trying to move you away from that. And of course, it's going to use anything it possibly can, because that's its pattern. So pain, the physical body, you know, that's kind of prime territory for it. And so what the Buddha noticed, like, okay, we're all very attached to our bodies, right? As human beings, like the body seems to be the reality, and we're very like jacked into this thing we think is real. And then we experience all these sensations, and we kind of govern by these. Most people are just run by these sensations and these emotions. And there's no awareness. So he's like, okay, well, you need to just start observing these without expectation. Okay, so when you look at when that shoulder's there and you just observe it,
yeah,
you just go, I'm observing the sensation. That's all I'm doing. There's nothing else that you're trying to do there. So it's an interesting technique, because you're not even trying to let it go, because there's a subtle expectation there that should be something other than what it is. Okay,
that's true. I've fallen into that one before. I've quietly observed and then told myself I've failed because it's come back.
Yeah. And so now there's a sense of, oh, I failed, suffering, the ego's in business again. It's, yeah, look, you failed again. This stuff doesn't work. Just go and treat it allopathically or put a drug in there or whatever.
Yes.
And so the mind starts going in this, in this pattern. You know how it works. And so he's saying, look, you've got to stop your mind. And the easiest way is just observe breath. That's the start, because it gets you into this observation. And then you move into observing sensation and just observe it. So that shoulder's there, and you observe, well, what does that feel like? I'm scanning my shoulder. What does that feel like? Okay, there's some pain. Not pain. Don't even use those words. There's some. Do you see how subtle it is? Because we go, oh, there's some pain. We just label it as that. It's a label. Is it pain? Or is it just a sensation? Right. So just observe. There's some tingling there. Right. There's a tingling. There's maybe some heat. There's some pressure. It kind of feels a little bit contracted. You don't even have to label. You get beyond the labels of the words, because again, the words then create some kind of expectation of it. You just observe. Okay, that's what it feels like, and you spend a bit of time there, and then you pass through it, and you go down the arm, and whenever you do the body scan, you get there and you just observe it. And so, what you're removing there, you see, this is the genius of the technique. You're removing your mental and emotional attachment to it as you do this, as you just observe and you're equanimous, going, it really doesn't, I'm just like a third party observer here. I'm like a clinician, just a doctor, just observing. That's it. Like there's no attachment, there's no investment there, because the story you tell yourself, you see, is now that this is important to you, that you need to be pain-free, because you have this whole, you have an artist, you need a living, money comes into, etc. And now you've got quite a lot of investment in that shoulder. And of course, that investment is going to mean most likely that the ego is going to go, okay, we'll keep the pain then, because this keeps the emotions going, keeps the ego very much in business. You're thinking about the little me, or what if I can't do this, then how will I live? And I'm not got enough income. Well, on you go. Okay, churning.
Yes.
You know the story. And then you're caught up in it. Then it's the little self, Iona, the little self, worrying about, you know, these little things that are potentially going to threaten your apparent livelihood and your well-being and so on. And the ego's got you. That's a form of suffering, isn't it? You're not perfectly at peace and calm and equanimous. You're worrying about this issue, and that worry feeds Iona, the little self. It creates that. And so he understood that this was a way in to start breaking this ego thing. The simple technique of observing and then releasing.
Well, I'll do that during this meditation then.
Yes, yeah. I'll guide you through a little body scan process, and just try and practice that. And whenever you meditate, try and just, it's a very simple idea. Just observe, and you're not judging that at all. There's no interpretation. So if you find, oh no, that's so, I must send white light there. Okay, just they don't do any of that. It's so interesting. Because you're almost saying, okay, there's a problem, so now I must try and address the problem. Yeah, but what have you done? You've made the problem real. You keep making the problem real, then and keep trying to fix the problem, you actually perpetuate the problem. You know, it's the whole teaching of the Course in Miracles and Buddhism is that problem's not really even there. That's the truth of the matter. The problem's not there. It's only in your mind. It seems to be there. Now it seems to be manifest. It seems to be physical, but it's not really there. The problem lies in your mind.
Yes.
Get into this equanimous state where you really have let go of the problem. You're just observing. There's no problem. You just observe. You know? There isn't a problem if you're just observing. Then by default, you've let go. See, you've forgiven or let go. And so it's really 6 of one and half a dozen of another. It's to like, well, if you do this, just being equanimous, you must have let go of your mental and emotional investment and attachment and your interpretation to this. Just by pure observation, you can get into this pattern of pure observation without mental judgment, without interpretation. You just observe, and then it is what it is. You just leave it. Okay, there it is. I observe it, and I go to the rest of my body. And if you, as equanimous to that sensation as to any other sensation in your body, that's where you want to get to. Now you've just kind of let it go. It ceases to have that mental and emotional power on you. And the likelihood is it's probably going to dissipate there because you're not investing it with so much importance.
True.
As long as you invest it with importance, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
It's going to continue to be the most important part of your body because you've given it that importance. And the pain in that area then gives it that importance. So you lock yourself in to that condition.
Yeah,
That's interesting how the mind works, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And so it's a very, very simple technique, but it works. The reason why Buddhism, I then understood why Buddhism took off like it did. Because this guy just taught, maybe he taught a few thousand people in his lifetime in northern India, and yet it spreads around the world. Why? And there was no dogma. He didn't have disciples like Jesus who went out and like, right, we're gonna establish these little churches, and it was a different thing. It was just experiential because he taught people. He didn't teach them dogma. He taught them the meditation technique, and he said, "You do this every day, and you will see that this works from your own experience." And there's no dogma and so on attached. And then, yes, obviously, when he passed away, then people go, okay, well, we need to formalize this, and we need to have, 4 noble truths, and we need to have, the Eightfold Path, and it becomes more theoretical and more dogmatic, and you get various versions, and it splinters off, and that's what happens to all of it. But in essence, the teaching was experiential. He said, you do the meditation, you follow my instructions, and you will have the experience for yourself, and you will see that this works from your experience. And then people go, yeah, it actually does work. And they are feeling that, and they're feeling much more peaceful and calmer when they do the meditation. So they do the meditation, and then it spreads. It's like, oh, well, this is amazing. You need to do this technique. And then you got people teaching the technique. And as happens, the technique fell into disuse. It got modified, it got changed, fell into disuse. 2,500 years later, in Burma, it had apparently been kept in its purity. There were some teachers that had been sent by an emperor called Ashoka in 3rd century BC, who, I mean, amazing transformation, interesting story. So this guy was called Ashoka the Cruel in the beginning of his reign. He reigned for about 50 years. And he was Ashoka the Cruel because he just took delight in like killing and went to war. And it's like hundreds of thousands of people dead, and all of this kind of stuff that so many rulers did. And then he came into contact with Buddhist teaching and Vipassana, and he did it, and it absolutely transformed him. He realized that this is not the way, and he changed into a very benevolent, compassionate king who, in history has gone down as one of the most benevolent rulers in history. It was a time of great peace and harmony and prosperity and all of that, because he just dedicated his reign to Buddhist principles. For the first 10 years it was Ashoka the Cruel, and the next 40 he had a total transformation. And because he had a position of power, that really showed, in the whole kingdom, because he was kind of the central guy who was dictating it. So then he decided, well, I'm so grateful for this technique that everyone must learn this. So I'm going to send out Buddhist monks to all the known world. He sent them to Europe, even, all over the place to teach this, and Burma was one of the places. So these two guys went there, and then it was maintained there in its kind of original form. 2,500 years later, a guy called Esen Gunka gets it. He's Burmese. His parents moved back to India, and he goes with them. And then he starts teaching in India, and he brings it back to India 2,500 years later, which was actually a prophecy that would happen. And then from India, it's gone around the world in the last sort of 50 years. You can do it in the UK actually, and it's free. It's a foundation that you can go and you can do it. It's voluntary donation. That's it. Everywhere. And they put you up for 10 days. So it's a 10-day timeout of your life to just go, okay, I'm spending 12 hours a day just meditating. When else do you get the chance to do that? It's pretty amazing, actually. I'm very grateful I did it, because I think I experientially started to understand what Buddhism was about, and like the key of the technique. It's like I like to get into the very guts of the thing. So what is it actually that works here? What is it that works? And so for me, if you've got this Vipassana, like just observing sensation, you have a way of managing emotions and of managing the physical body and pain. So that's really, really helpful. And then the course is very much focused on thought. So now the course, you have the ability to look at your thoughts and let them go. So now you've got emotion and thought. Well, that's what the ego is made up of, thoughts and emotion, and they feed each other. So using them in conjunction, should be more powerful than one on its own. And so I've experimented with that, and they don't contradict each other at all. They're just different ways to let go. It's all letting go. So just to really let go, deeply let go. Not just superficially, I've let that go, but then okay, I've still got the pain and so on. And actually, if you're honest, you haven't really let it go. There's still quite a lot of investment and attachment in that particular issue. We've all got these things. So the Vipassana body scanning is just observing and really deeply letting go, because it's in your experience. I'm observing that sensation, and I'm just not reacting to it. Then I must have let it. If I really can get there, I must have let it go, because there's no more importance to that sensation than to another sensation in my body. They're equal. See, this is the equanimity, means a balanced or an equal mind. So everything's the same. And this is what these teachings are trying to teach. Everything you see is the same, because there's one awareness. You have a singular awareness that's behind all of your perceptions, all of your sense perceptions. There's one single awareness, and it's the same awareness. In the yogic tradition, they call it Samadhi. That actually means a sameness of perception. Most people think you're sitting blissing out all the time. Yeah, you can have that. If you just in that pure formless awareness, and that's your only experience, it's going to be pretty blissful. But then, in your daily life, you're walking around, you're talking, you're interacting. Can you have just the same awareness all the time? One single awareness towards every object, every person, It's a singular awareness. And in the course, lesson 30, we'll get there later in the course because we do the first 35 lessons. He says, God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. Okay. So pure formless awareness, if you retranslate, pure formless awareness is in everything I see because pure formless awareness is in my mind. Makes so much sense. It's my foundational awareness. Without that, I would have nothing. I wouldn't be alive. Right? So that's the foundation. So now I'm connecting with that, and I'm living through that. And this is just another way to let go of whatever's blocking that. As Jesus says, the only thing we need to do is let go of the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. So they really work hand in glove. The thought, observation of thought, observation of sensation. It's all about coming to an equanimous state where you're not judging, you're not making anything more important than anything else. And then by default, you've forgiven, you've let go because you're just observing. You're the pure witness, the pure observer.
So you said right in the beginning that I started writing notes. I never finished the sentence here. You said when you did Vipassana, you suddenly the penny dropped and you realized what Buddha saw. And you said, if you can observe the breath and sensations, slash emotions, then what? What
well,
was
then you come to, I had this insight, which was totally experiential, day 9.
Yes.
So last day of the silence, because the next day we came out of it.
Yes.
And it's sort of 1:30 in the afternoon. It's an afternoon meditation, and my body's just sore. It's just like, because you've been sitting for so long, and I just was like, you know what, I'm just going to lie down. I said don't, but I broke the rules. I was like,
That's what you said.
I'm just going to lie down and just actually release all of that. You know what I mean? I don't have to hold my body. I'm just going to lying down so you support it. And I think that was a part of it because it was just like a letting go physically of holding that posture. I just went into the space of absolute nothingness. But I was aware of the nothingness. I was aware of the awareness.
What happened to the pain?
It was an instant. The Course talks about a holy instant. It was maybe 30 seconds. I don't know, maybe a minute. One doesn't know. And there's no time in that. It was just pure awareness, just that pure formless awareness. And it only lasted, a few seconds or whatever. And then immediately, I started to think again. But the thought was very directed by what we call the Holy Spirit, which is the awareness of oneness. It said, yes, this is what you've done. You have covered over this awareness with this world. Every sense perception you have, every interpretation you have, is just a covering over this. It's a veil pulled over. And I really understood then the idea of the veil of illusion, they talk about. It's a covering over. We've just covered over that pure formless awareness. And now the world is a justification for all of these thoughts and emotions that are just covering this pure formless awareness. And I was the substitute for it. And I really so got it. I just, in that moment, the entire teaching of the Course and everything I'd done to that point, I suppose, in my whole spiritual journey, just dropped into an experiential awareness and knowing, this is true. This is absolutely true. I get it. This is what the Buddha saw. This is what Jesus saw. This is what every single master has ever seen. It's just a covering over. And I cried. I was so sad. I was just like, oh God, that's just, how could we have done that? We have this pristine awareness, absolutely pure, formless, so lovely. And then we go into inventing all of this stuff that's keeping our minds very occupied and away from this awareness. And I just cried for a few minutes. It's just so sad. So it's like, oh, how can we have done that? I see the entire human drama, my own entire, human existence is just this. We've pulled it over, covered over this, and we've now justified why this is seemingly valid and it's real, and that we need to continue in this really self-defeating pattern, thought and emotion just covering over our true awareness. And I just, yeah, it was experiential knowing. I just got it. I was like, that is so, I'll never forget that experience. 30 seconds was like a 5-minute experience in my whole life, but I'll never forget it because of the depth of it. But it took, you know, the whole retreat to get there, to have that experience. So it's experiential realization. You know, too often, like you're studying a teaching like the Course, and it's amazing, and you know, you can kind of get into the theory of it, but it's experiential. If you don't know it deeply, then it's just another kind of intellectual mind thing going on in your mind. It's about really feeling it and knowing it. That's where you're going. And so the meditation and the breathing, and that's what takes you into the experiential knowing, where you know, more and more you just get it. One moment, I've just got someone coming into. Hi there. Thanks, Lizzie. Just do your thing. Okay. So that's why in this in the Art of Letting Go course, there's quite a lot of meditation and breath work. It was in there before, but it was confirmed to me. Look, this is the right approach. Experiential knowing. You want to get people to know this, and that's a process. You know, you go through a process in yourself of unwinding and undoing, and it's all okay. Whatever's there for you now, that's part of the process, and it's okay. It's all good. So, but let's just have a quick look at today's quote and the Art of Letting Go exercise. So we're going to just have a look at pathway number 4. This is at about page 14, I'd say, of your. Just scroll down there a bit quicker. Page 14. The 4th pathway. So we'll just have a little read of that, and discuss the quote, and then go into meditation. Okay, so being here now. We've done the first 3. I don't know if you caught any of the recordings, but this is
yeah, I'm on my way with this.
Okay, so this is actually quite based on Buddhist teaching, because obviously this didn't come from nowhere. The guy who came up with this, it's called Ken Kais. He was a spiritual teacher, US spiritual teacher. Yeah. And this he called the living love method. And you can see Buddhist principles, Eastern teachings coming through very strongly in this, but he's just put it into kind of a modern context and talked about your programming and computers, like you're like a computer being programmed. Because I guess when he was teaching this, the 60s and 70s, this was the age of computers were starting to like come into our modern society. So he used that analogy. So the first 3 pathways are about freeing yourself. So freeing yourself from these addictions, security, sensation, and power addictions. And the way you do that is observe the sensations. Each and every addiction has sensations that go with it. If you can just observe them and you don't react to them, you're equanimous, then you start to release their power. And so your whole pathway is to discover how these addictions are creating your illusory version of the changing world of people and situations around you. This is your seeming ego reality, and you welcome the opportunity that your experience offers you to become aware of the addictions you must reprogram, to be liberated from your robot-like emotional patterns. So, from this teaching, on some level, you're addicted to the pain in your shoulder. See, because there's a program there, and it's about releasing that attachment or addiction to it, so that it's just exactly the same as anything else. There's no special investment in it. You're equanimous. So that's the first three pathways: freeing yourself from these addictions, which keep moving you away from your true self. This is the veil of illusion. We keep going mentally and emotionally down these rabbit holes, and then this pure presence, this pure formless awareness is covered over, and we're not aware of it anymore, and we're now in the ego, and we don't even know we're in the ego. We think it's so deeply entrenched that we go into it and we're not even aware we're in it. So this is about creating that awareness. Okay, yes, whenever there's any kind of expectation and desire, whenever I'm attached to my sensations, then I'm in the ego. So it's a very deep understanding of it, and then deep letting go of it. Okay, so this is about being here now. These next three pathways, which, as it says, is about being in the now. Okay, so you free yourself from your addictions and all of the programming that takes you out of the now. Then you come into the present moment, which, as we know in every spiritual teaching, they say this is it. The present moment, the now is where your happiness is, where your peace lies. This is where you want to stay. This is the whole purpose of the teaching is to come into the now and just be as you are in the moment. Okay, so let's hear what he has to say. If you want to read, I don't know if you want to read the introduction.
Okay.
Just being here now. 4 to 6.
Yeah. One interesting aspect of the 12 pathways is that if you can follow any one of them completely on the deeper levels, you will be using almost all of them. They are systematically interlocking, and this makes it easier for you to implement them in action. Pathways 4 through 6 are particularly helpful in learning to live in the eternal now moment, although all of the pathways reprogram you to tune into the nowness of your life.
Okay. So any thoughts on that? We'll stop. Just do it paragraph by paragraph. Any thoughts on what he said there?
I'm struck by the interlocking nature of all the pathways. As a visual person, I'm already imagining the pathways in a visual way, almost like a Celtic knot, that they're all part of one way. They're all going to meet up. Yeah, I like that.
Maybe you could paint it.
Yeah.
Painting on the 12 pathways or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Whatever you feel that's going to help you and might help others if they see the painting. Amazing. Actually, we'll send it to the group and say, there's a painting of the pathways, visually represented. So saying really what, as I said, every spiritual teacher and teaching has said, being in the now. But it's how do you get into the now? How do you stay present to the nowness of your life? So if you think about just observing sensation, you're just in the now. There's nothing else. You're not thinking about past, future. As soon as you engage with your ego, you go into this. Oh, what if this shoulder, this pain is now going to affect the future? What if this affects my life? You're in the future straight away, aren't you? There's a worry about the future. You go out of the now, and of course that's suffering, and it's illusory. There's no future. It's just a thought in your mind.
I also realize one of my addictions is to the time game in life. I'm aware of the time, and my plan for the afternoon, had me in by the short and curly. So I'm getting a bit sort of twitchy until I thought that's an addicted program. You're buying into the fact that if you sit here for another 20 minutes longer than you thought you were going to, what's going to happen? Your whole day is going to So the fear is galloping me into kind of all sorts of catastrophe waiting for me this afternoon.
That's interesting observing, and then you noticed you twitchy, so you notice that sensation that goes with it. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable. So that thought stimulates an emotion, you have a sensation. And then if you can just observe it, as you said you've done, then you're okay. It's like, okay, just observe it. I don't have to react to that. I don't have to make it real. If you respond to it, you go, oh, yeah, that's true. And then your further thoughts and emotions, now that pattern gets energized. And you're more likely to do it again because, as we know, we're just wired up. We've got various programs running us, and the more you honor that program, the more likely it is that you will in future. So, like time, okay, stimulate into the pattern, and off you go,
Yes.
without questioning it, without saying, "Hang on, what's going on." So it's really good that you can just now start to become aware of it. Okay, just be aware of it. Is there anything you could possibly do that's going to be more value adding to your life than what you're doing now? Ask yourself that question.
Than the present moment awareness.
Yeah, and this is foundational. This is about saying Iona is going to start coming into this awareness of who she really is in absolute truth. Is there anything more important than that in truth?
Well, seeing you put it like that.
There isn't.
No.
This is the whole point of our lives, is to come into awareness of who we really are. Right now, not sometime in the future. It's not delayed till some future. Well, enlightenment will come in the future. No, it's right now.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So
Okay.
just stay with it and
Yes.
observe those emotions and sensations. And if you do that with equanimity, you're letting them go. They cease to have any power over you. They're just, okay, it's just blowing through, right? It's that cloud pattern idea. Comes and it goes, it blows through, and you observe, and really the clouds don't matter. It doesn't matter, because none of that is true or real. What's true and real is that pure formless awareness, the blue sky beyond, that just is. That's just asking you just to be it. I mean, you think about what could be simpler. Just to be that pure presence. There's no complications, there's no coverings, there's no change. It's just be that pure presence. That's all this is asking of you. Just be that pure presence right now. And yet it's quite difficult because we're so used to not being that pure presence, and our mind running all over the show and creating all kinds of stories that we've forgotten how to be just that pure presence right now. And this whole course is just about connecting you with that presence again, saying, no, just whatever's going on in your life, just be that presence now. And then take that presence into your life. So it's an inside-out transformation. So whatever you're doing, I'm not saying you're going to do nothing, but whatever you're doing, you're in the pure presence, and that's just guiding you. And it's always there, even though you can be very active and you can be working and you can be speaking to people or doing whatever. Just that presence is resting always. It's always there for you. And that's an enlightened state. It's actually quite simple. But this very simplicity of it is what gets us, because it's so simple that it's got to be more difficult than this, surely.
Yes.
Got to make it more complicated. So then down we go another rabbit hole of making it complicated. As soon as you make it complicated, then the ego's back, because now you've got all kinds of thoughts and emotions going on that are not pure formless awareness anymore. There's something else going on in your mind and your attention.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Some more addictive patterns are floating up to the surface for sure.
Even going, well, I'm not doing this properly. I'm never going to get this. That's another program. Elaine, I mean, you probably have those thoughts. I'm not doing this properly. And so then you go, oh, okay, well, I'm not doing this properly. And it's
never going to get
self-invested, right? There's a self-evaluation, there's a comparison, there's an investment. Who's the I that's not doing it properly? So you've got to just be aware. It's quite funny, actually. I mean, if you just can observe and laugh.
We love to self-sabotage.
Passions that we have, and now I'm attached to enlightenment. There's another one. Oh no, I have an expectation. I want to be enlightened, and I'm not enlightened. I'm not doing it properly, and then and then that's another thing that's just blocking our enlightenment. I'm not enlightened. I'm upset about it. In fact, that I'm not enlightened. You got to laugh.
Yeah, you do have to.
And the Buddha, I think he kind of got that. I think he must have, because he went through like 7 years of, if you know his history, he left his kind of cushy life as the prince of whatever territory. He had everything. Everyone was given to him, but he was just totally bored with it. He was like, this isn't working for me. So he left and he went on a spiritual search, and he became a spiritual seeker, a beggar, and he tried every different pathway. He was like a personal growth junkie in those days. Like every single teacher and every pathway and every meditation technique, he was there and he was trying it, and he did it like fully. So that someone said, you're gonna fast. So he just took it to the extreme. He was eating 1 grain of rice a day for like months. So he gets to the point where he's like totally finished. His body's just about shutting down because he had no nutrition, and he's kind of lying in the gutter. And eventually he just lets go. He's tried so much, and he just sitting there and he gives up, and he just lets go. And in the giving up, he gets it. It's like, okay, I get it. It's the giving up of all of that. The desire, the expectation, the desire for enlightenment. Give that up too. And just be in the moment. And he just, under that bow tree, it just dropped, and he was like, I get it. It's so simple. You're never going to get it by the striving for it, because you sabotage yourself. In the striving, you're saying, I'm not okay as I am now because I need something else. And that just keeps sabotaging. And then he observed that that's just a pattern of our minds. That's what we do all the time. So craving or desire keeps us out of that now moment, out of the presence of who we really are. Or aversion. And he said, well, aversion is just another form of the desire. I desire for it not to be the way it is. So aversion to my shoulder pain, that keeps the shoulder pain in place because I'm avoiding it. So there's a resistance. I'm making it real, and then it continues. Now I expect that it should be some other way than what it is. It's another form of craving or desire. And he got it experientially, just through his own experience and his observation, and that's why it's authentic. It's because he knew it experientially through all of that experience that he'd done. He came to that realization. Obviously, what happens afterwards is people take the teaching and the theory, but they haven't had the experience, and they don't really get it because they haven't done what the Buddha did and really get it deeply. So it's about experiencing and making this into your own experiential understanding and knowing. And that's why I've designed the course. I'm giving you lots of stuff. Try and experience it as much as possible through these meditations and practices. So at the end of it, you go, yeah, experientially, I actually do know that I know that this is true. That's so much more useful than going, yeah, well, I can remember the 12 pathways and I can recite them. But like experientially, I don't know that they're true. It's just thoughts in my mind.
Good.
Okay, so Elaine, if you want to read the fourth pathway, the first part of it, just a bit in bold.
I always remember that I have everything I need to enjoy my here and now, unless I am letting my consciousness be dominated by demands and expectations based on the dead past or the imagined future.
Okay. So any thoughts on that? Anything stand out for you there?
We have everything we need to enjoy our lives in the moment. We don't need to look for anything out there. We have everything we need if we can only allow our consciousness not to be dominated by demands and expectations coming from the past or coming from thinking into the future. So there's a condition, unfortunately, to having everything we need.
Yeah, you must come into the now. If you're in past and future, then you're saying, I don't have everything I need now. I'm in some other mental, it's an illusory domain. right? It's only happening in your mind.
There's something damaged from the past or something. So that's like, it's damage.
So now I bring that.
You're worrying about that's going to happen in the future. Then you
usually
can't
based
access.
on your past. Okay, so things have gone wrong in the past, so I worry that that's going to happen in the future. There's going to be more of the same, or whatever it is. So past, future, it's a channel. We're addicted to it. We're addicted to thinking about the past and the future. This is as he said, each pathway feeds into another. These addictions, you notice the first three, they all happen because we believe in time. Because we believe right now I'm not okay. One day in the future I could be okay if only this happened. And that's the ego's pattern.
If only I could sort out this, or
then I'll be
that.
happy. Then I'll be happy.
Prevent that from happening, what might happen in the future.
So craving and aversion. I desire this to happen, or I desire this not to happen. I want this not to be. Same thing. Now we've moved ourselves away from now into future, usually based on our past experience, and that pure formless awareness in the now is covered over, and we've got all kinds of other thoughts and emotions going on, which cover it over and stop us from enjoying our here and now. We're not really enjoying the moment if we're in past and future. You're off for the fairies. You're thinking about all kinds of other stuff, and there's no awareness of who you really are as pure formless awareness in the now, because you can only be aware of that now. Pure formless awareness, you can't be pure formless awareness in the future or in the past. Those are just thoughts and mental conceptions. The past and the future don't exist except in your mind. It's always now. The eternal now moment, always now. That is just a fundamental truth. But is it always now in your awareness? Often it's not a lot of the time, because you're off in the future or the past. So this is about bringing you back to just be aware of, I have everything I need right now. So right in this moment, exactly as you are right now, I have everything I need. I can enjoy my here and now moment right now. And that's a very nice place to be in. And then the next moment, I have everything I need to be, and so on. And it becomes one continuous now moment. Your life is one continuous now moment, without the expectations and the demands and addictions and all the programming that's trying to pull you away from that experience of just being rooted in the now as your true awareness. So being in the now connects you with your true self, and that's the enlightened state of mind that all the teachings are talking about. They're all the same. They're all saying, come into the now. This is how you're going to get there. Okay, so any questions on that first little bit? Okay, so Iona, if you want to read the next paragraph for us, please.
And this is, you can only be here now?
No, if you're not enjoying the previous one.
I was knocked out there by the ego.
Okay.
I was not in the here and now. If you are not enjoying every here and now moment in your life, it is because your addictions, otherwise known as desires, attachment, demands, expectations, emotional programming, or models of how life should treat you, are making you dwell in the dead past or the imagined future. They are keeping you from being here now. All there is in your life is the eternal now moment, and your experience of this moment is created by the programming in your head. Yep.
Makes sense?
Totally. Says it all.
I like the simplicity of what he says. It's very, very, very simple and quite short. Each one is just very short, very insightful, based on eternal truths. This is in all your great spiritual teachings, but just put in a way that
I like that last one actually, or models of how life should treat you. It's that sense of entitlement to a better existence, or
Or
keeping
a better shoulder.
Yeah,
a better
whatever.
shoulder, more money,
Yeah,
Yes.
more time, whatever it is, it's a trap,
whatever
isn't
it
it?
is. Yeah, yeah. So it's very subtle, because you notice as soon as you start thinking, oh, it would just be nice if this could happen, then
If only.
if only this could
If
be.
only there wasn't just this one thing. Or
Yeah.
if only if I didn't have these financial issues, or
Yes.
these
Yeah.
children issues, or these
Exactly. And there's the thing
pain
is,
issues.
there's always going to be some if only in your life.
Always.
Always. Unless you
Take this.
stop the program and you just say, okay, there's no if only, there's only now. There's no future. There's only now. There's only ever been now, and I'm rooted in now. That's it. This is as good as it gets. It's right now. It's right here and right now. And if I can't be happy now, then am I ever going to be happy in the future? And the honest answer to that is you're never going to be happy, because the pattern that you're playing right now is going to just carry on in the future. And you'll just keep on in the pattern, and you're always going to be looking to some future moment for salvation. I'll be happy when. It's like the when never comes, because there's only now. And yet you can drop all of that. You can just drop all of that. You can say, I'm just going to drop the pattern. It's a pattern of thought and emotion that I've just engaged in. That's really dysfunctional. It's not helping me. It's not serving me. I can drop it. And I can just be okay as I am now. Whatever the condition of my life is, whatever the stage of my life is, I can be okay now. And it's easier said than done, because you've got all these, quite deeply entrenched patterns. So this practice of just observing your thoughts, your emotions, your sensations brings you into a more and more of an acceptance of the now. Just as you observe, you're just in the now. Okay, that's it. As you start to become aware of the awareness that underlies everything, that's non-judgmental. It doesn't desire and doesn't fear and doesn't expect, and none of the demands, expectations, desires, attachments, emotional programming, and models of how life should treat you really exist in that awareness. Awareness just is awareness. That's it. Pure formless awareness. And so you're training yourself every time you meditate and you do this practice to come into the now and just observe. And that's very, very helpful, because then in your life, as things come up and you feel like emotions come up, which they will, you can just observe them. One of the facilitators was a young guy, so he was living at the thing, and he told a story, and I thought I'll repeat it because it was quite powerful. So he had a father who was not into all this spiritual kind of stuff, kind of resonated with that, and was quite angry. And so, and he's not apparently doing anything constructive with his life, because he's just gone to this Buddhist teacher. He's gone to this Buddhist thing, and he's saying, I just want to dedicate my life to this. So this doesn't meet his father's model of how, his son's life should be. It's a kind of age-old story, really. So he's sitting there, and apparently his father's screaming at him. He's like yelling at him, and he's getting really angry. And he said, like, before I'd done Vipassana, I would have gone into a total shell. I would have gone into fear. I would have let those emotions, completely control me. And he said, because I've done so much of it, I just sat there and I watched him, and I observed my sensation. I observed that I was breathing fast. I observed that there was a little bit of, tremor that's going on. And I just didn't react. I didn't say anything. I just observed the sensation of it. And he said it was very interesting, because as I did that and I didn't react to him, he just got calmer and quieter. Eventually, because how do you get angry if someone's just sitting there looking at you and not reacting? And so then his father's whole kind of emotional state quieted down. And then after 5 or 10 minutes, they're able to have some kind of conversation without his father just screaming at him. And he said, I would not have been able to do that if I hadn't practiced Vipassana so much. Because in the heat of the moment, I was able to just observe breath and sensation. And not react. And it just brought the whole situation right down. So that was, in Course terminology, that was forgiveness in the moment. He just wasn't reacting to it. He wasn't making it real and responding in any way. And it was only his training, all the Vipassana that he'd done, that helped him to do that. So that's what you're preparing yourself for. You do this, then the shit hits the fan in your life, and you want to react, and stuff's arising, and then you just observe, and you go, okay, I can just observe my sensations, I can observe my emotions. I don't have to go down the rabbit hole of making this all real, and it can just pass through. So this is not saying you're not going to have some of these emotions and sensations. Yeah, you will. But how do you react to them? Do you just let them be, you observe them, and they just kind of are allowed to fade away? Or are you going to really go into them, go down a whole rabbit hole, and really give them a reality that they don't have? And then you can put yourself into an emotional state that can last hours, days, weeks, months, just depending. Some people have just been playing the same pattern over and over and over again for years. They're in like that. They're in this state almost permanently, and then it becomes much harder to release. Whereas, in the moment, as that temptation to attach to the emotion and the sensation arises, you can just let it go. So, okay, I just can observe it. But do it in meditation to train yourself. So it's like any good training trains you when you've got the time and space to do it, so that when you're in the heat of the moment, then you can react appropriately, rather than like, now I've got no idea how to deal with it. So you train it in quiet times, just when you're doing the meditation, so that you prepare. Okay. Any thoughts on that paragraph, or no? Shall we go on to the next one? Lane, if you can read that.
You can only be here now when you instantly accept emotionally whatever happens in your life. If you wish to change something, fine, do it. And you can make really effective changes when your mind is free of emotional turmoil.
Okay, so anything strike you there? Anything stand out?
Well, we have to sort of also detach from the things that get us emotionally charged up. Detach from them, like the pain. Just observe. These emotions, they're not necessarily turmoil.
So instantly accept, this is the idea of acceptance. So there's just an awareness of it, and you don't resist it. So you instantly accept, okay, so emotionally I've got this sensation.
This and that, and the other thing, the whole tower's coming tumbling down, okay, fine.
So I just observe that, and I don't resist it. And when I'm in that space, I'm quite powerful, because I can then choose to let these things go and not honor them. So I remember I mentioned, again, I told a story. I think I mentioned it to you, Elaine, but Iona wasn't there. So one time I was driving down to Durban from Johannesburg, which is about a 6-hour drive, Iona. So it's quite late at night. It's like 10:30 at night. My sister, who's living in Durban, is expecting me, and I know she gets antsy if she goes to bed too late. So there's that kind of time thing going on. And then I have a flat tire, and I remember like, how can this happen? This shouldn't be happening. And I pull over, and I'm like, I go and look at it, and I'm like, so the first minute or so, it's just like resistance. It's just like, how can this be happening? This is so inconvenient, and you're in that resistance state. But then I was able to just go, okay, just accept it, right? Accept, okay, this is what's happened. You can't no amount of resisting this is going to undo the fact that you have a flat tire. Right? There's something you have to do. So then I just went, okay, so all I've got to do is get present and do this. I've got a spare wheel. I've got it in the boot. I've just got to unpack the boot. And and I just got into the moment of, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this and this. And I did one thing at a time. And I just got very present. And all of those emotions just weren't there anymore. And I think this is what he's referring to. right? I accepted, okay, the situation is what it is. And in that acceptance, there was a letting go of that resistant emotion, which was going to keep me stuck on the side of the highway forever, going, how can this happen? Why does it? It's not going to help me. I just need to be present now and do what I need to do. And so I was in the now, and I did it. And in 20 minutes, I got the tire changed, and I phoned, I think, my parents and said, like, you know, this is what's happened. Just so you know, please tell my sister that, you know, I might be a little bit later. And I, you know, it was only about a 20-25 minute delay, and I was back on the road. And I actually quite, in hindsight, I was driving. I was like, I quite enjoyed that actually, because it was like there was a sort of seeming crisis, and I had the resistance, and then I just let it go, and I overcame it, and I was in the now, and I did something I'd never done before. I'd never changed a tire on my own before. In, you know, these were pretty trying circumstances. It was like dark, it was windy, it was on the side of the highway. It's like, I'm like, okay, you know, this isn't the ideal place. But, you know, I managed it just because I got into the now and I applied these spiritual principles. And there was actually a sense of enjoyment, you know. So Eckhart Tolle talks about three modalities of conscious doing. He said the first kind of base state is acceptance. Okay, just accept whatever the situation is, what it is, without any of that resistance. So you may not actively be able to say, like, I'm really enjoying this, but it doesn't matter. Like in that situation, it wasn't like I'm really enjoying this when I'm doing it. I just like, okay, I've just accepted and I'm doing it, right? Just do it, the next thing. So that was like base level 1, where you're now in the spirit, you're in some kind of, you know, true awareness. Anything else, if you're resisting, you're not in that, and you're in ego. The second level of it is enjoyment. So, and I got that afterwards. It was like, I actually quite enjoyed that. I really felt like that was actually quite a good experience, and I quite enjoyed it, and I'm glad it happened. So, but not while I was doing it. But in the moment, if you're really enjoying the process, then you're in the second phase, where the activity. So, for instance, I know in your painting, you probably really enjoy it. You get into a flow, and you really enjoy the process, and there's no resistance, and you're just in the moment. And that's a lovely state to be in. If you earn your living doing that, you know, you're very lucky, because a lot of people don't, like, do what they really love and, you know, get paid for it. So that's the ideal. If you can do what you love and get paid for it, then great. It's not really work. That's what you do anyway, for free. And so you remove all that financial equation, really.
Just there was something your story, which for me is very important, is when I get tied up into the idea that I cannot let somebody else down, and I get tied into their timetable,
yes,
and their way of being, and somehow that overrides what's okay for me. And that, to me, illustrated a great little intervention in that sort of addictive that could be addictive for me, that I can't let somebody down. I've got to be there at 6 o'clock, or else.
Yeah. And then you tell yourself a story.
Yeah.
And you say, oh, well, it's someone else, but it's your own perception of that. That's the problem.
Yes. And that was a wonderful intervention to say, actually, this guy needs to really get into his present here. We'll just knock out that fire. I like that.
Yeah. And it was a great learning experience, and it really showed me the power of these teachings. It was a long time ago. It was like 10, maybe more years ago. So I wasn't, you know, as advanced in my understanding, and I was just kind of on this path, kind of figuring this all out. And you have an experience like that, it's like, yeah, this stuff really works. I can absolutely see, you know, from my experience, like what resistance does, because I had that little experience. That was valuable. I'm glad I had a minute or two of resistance. So you experience it. And then you go, okay, but there's another way. And then you experience the contrast, and that it actually works. And then you go, actually, it was okay. It was all okay, including the experience of resistance. It was okay. It was all part of the experience I needed to have. The sooner you get out of resistance, you know, the better. That's the truth of the matter. So if I'd stayed longer in resistance, it would have been very dysfunctional. So it was just about perfect. It was all perfect in its imperfection. I was in resistance for exactly the amount of time so I could get the experience of resistance, and how dysfunctional that was, that it wasn't really going to solve the problem. And then had the experience of the contrast, and you know, your life is always doing that for you. you're getting these opportunities all the time. Just embrace them, even the resistance part of it. Okay, so I was in resistance for a bit. I noticed that, and now I can let that resistance go. I don't have to be in that anymore, and I can experience the contrast of another state where I've let that go, and I'm actually quite peaceful. So things that trigger you, you'll probably find as we talk these things, and like you find that these things will come in your life. You'll get an opportunity to practice this quite soon.
Oh yeah, I have on many occasions so far.
Yeah. There's going to be an expectation of someone, and then you're going to find that pattern arising, and then you go, okay, this is a great opportunity to practice it and really let this go and observe. Yeah, okay, there's still that pattern, but it's all perfect in its imperfection because I need to have the experience in order to practice. So yes, it's a bit of resistance. The ego is going to get triggered. That's all part of it. But if I can be aware of it and I can let it go, then that's all perfect in its imperfection. So don't resist the triggering, because that's part of the learning, you see. And it's just quickly, the idea is to very quickly move through it. You get good at becoming aware more quickly of the pattern as it's arising, and then being able to say, okay, I'm aware of this. As soon as I'm aware of it, that's the first step in letting go, because I'm aware, and then I can just, second phase, I can just choose, I'm not going to honor that pattern. I can observe the thought, the emotion, the sensation, and I can just let that dissipate. And you might do a little breath work technique or something just to help you to release it, or you just in a meditation and you stay equanimous, you just observe that without reacting. There's different techniques you can use to help you, but the key thing is you're aware of it, because then that kicks you into, okay, well, now what can I do about it? As he says, if you wish to change something, fine, do it. You can change it. It's not saying you in fact, the acceptance of that allows you to change it. Paradoxically, the resistance to it means you're stuck in it. You just want to stay in resistance. The ego wants to keep you in that resistant state. So actually, then you're not going to change anything, because it likes the resistance. It likes you to be in that pattern.
No, it's a perfect.
It doesn't actually want you to fix the problem.
Right now, I have been feeling really stuck and in patterns, old addictive patterns, and that doesn't serve me or anyone or any situation around me. So this is really useful. On a practical level, I am going to have to move out of this room that I'm in, this space, because it's being used for another treatment in that 2 o'clock in 5 minutes.
Okay.
So can I read my last?
Yes. Yes, please do.
That noise.
It was just WhatsApp. It's my
all right.
brother calling me.
We can always find things we can magnify to threaten our security and power addictions, or we can consciously perform whatever action is needed and then turn our attention to enjoying everything we have to enjoy. And we always have enough to be happy if we are enjoying what we do have and not worrying about what we don't have. We can always find things, yes, always find things to threaten security, sensation, and power addictions. We can magnify it.
Whatever it is, because this is the ego's pattern. It wants you to find something. So if you fix your shoulder, then there'll be something else, because it wants you to find something else.
I'm so bored of that patterning. I was once told, you always sweat the small stuff. It's quite a shock, but it stuck with me. The observation was something that you can fasten on to be concerned about. It'll take your attention. That stung.
And that's the pattern. There's actually a quote by Anthony Robbins. So don't sweat. There's 2 rules in life. Number 1, don't sweat the small stuff. Number 2, remember it's all small stuff.
Right. I never thought the second line. Good.
Yeah. Remember it's all small stuff, which then is an awareness of truth. It's saying, well, it's all illusion, really. It's all just small petty stuff that we've invented, precisely just to take ourselves away from our our true formless awareness, which is infinite and expansive and beautiful in its nature. The small stuff has just been invented by the ego to keep us away from that.
Yep. That's for sure.
Yeah, you got to laugh, but once you see it and you can have a laugh at yourself, then you're starting to let go of the ego, because it's all of that seriousness and that self-importance and that investment in your own story just starts to dissipate. You just go, that's just a bit ridiculous, really. It's just crazy to keep doing this pattern. And so, you laugh at the Iona character that's not really even real. She's not a figment of your imagination. Like, who you really are is the pure formless awareness that just can observe all this and go, well, that's kind of funny, really. It's just crazy that I once believed that I thought I was that, and all the small stuff bothered me, and like I'd really, get mentally and emotionally turbulated by it, when I'm just pure formless awareness. It's crazy to be like that. That doesn't make any sense at all. When I have, the gifts of God, this pure formless awareness, just waiting there for me, why would I want to sweat the small stuff anymore? It's like, doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And of course, the ego is going to come and challenge that and say, no, you really need to sweat this small stuff because this one's important. And you got to remember, but it's all small stuff. None of it's important. That's the construct. The world is a little small, as Jesus is teaching us. It's a product of very little limited thinking, and it's designed to trigger your small self, your little self, and make that real. That's what it's designed to do. So don't fall into the trap of now making what's not important important. I mean, Jesus is telling us the world is valueless in itself. It is a meaningless world. So why are you giving it meaning in all of these small encounters in your life? It doesn't have that meaning. You give it the meaning. And nothing I see means anything. Lesson number 1. I've given everything I see all the meaning that it has for me. I'm just telling us straight up. Like, first, we'll get to this next week. You're not familiar with these lessons, but they just, he takes you, nothing I see means anything. Man, he just takes you straight in there. Lesson number 1, nothing I see means anything. Okay, just remember that. If it doesn't mean anything, then why am I attaching meaning and importance to it? It doesn't make any sense if it doesn't mean anything. But it's to unprogram our minds from the meaning that we give things, which is a default program. We're not even aware we've given the stuff meaning, but we do it by default. You give your shoulder meaning every time you worry about it, and you go, oh, what's going to happen in the future? You've just given it a meaning, haven't you? Or we can consciously perform whatever action is needed and then turn our attention to enjoying everything we have to enjoy. Okay, so I need to do something, I can do it. And I can do it from the state of just awareness. I'm in the now. That is a flow state, right? I'm in flow. I'm just doing it. Have you ever seen the movie Forrest Gump? Probably.
Yeah. Times.
Yeah. A great movie, because the guy just, he's really simple. And he just does things. He's just like, okay, well, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to, play table tennis, or I'm going to start running, and he just runs across America. Or I'm going to just start a business. I'm just going to do it. And there's no mental and emotional investment in it. And it just shows you just how simple that is.
And the brilliant thing is that he's always at the key moments in history, the really important moments. He's there.
He's there, and he's just doing it. He's showing up in the moment, doing what he's doing, and there's no self-investment. So he just does it, and everyone's like, Forrest Gump, like, wow, amazing. Like all those guys, remember when he's running across America, and they're all following him. And then he goes, okay, I've had enough now. I'm gonna stop. It was classic. There's no investment. There's no like, okay, I've had enough now. I'm going to stop. There's no like attachment. Oh, I'm now Forrest Gump, the great runner, and everyone's following me, and like I need to continue doing this because I've just like had enough, and I'm going to stop. And he stops. It's classic.
I must watch that again. I love it.
Yeah, it's a great teaching of this exact, just being in the now, and just how effective that can be if you don't have all of the mental and emotional programming. And then by contrast, there's other characters. He has his girlfriend who's like messed up and like she's got all this, programming going on. And there's remember the guy without the legs who he saved in the war, like just mentally and emotionally so angry and screwed up, and he's their teacher because they're just like, Forrest, you're just so simple that you just take me out of all of my mental and emotional dysfunction into the now, into this just, okay, I just am right now, just through the simplicity of his presence.
Yeah.
So some great teaching in these kinds of movies, really just saying this, just be here now as you are without any of this dysfunctional addictive programming. And it's very effective if you can operate that way. So we always have enough to be happy if we're enjoying what we do have and not worrying about what we don't have. Because what I have right now, I have my true awareness. My beingness is with me right now. That's all I need. I don't have to worry about what I don't have now. The level of form doesn't matter. I am what I am right now. And it feels really good. If you can just connect with that presence and then stay there. I don't need to move anywhere. That's it. I am that I am right now. And in the Bible, the name of God, first name of God in the Old Testament is I am that I am. There it is. I am that I am. Right now, I am that I am. That's it. Just that awareness of who you are, of that awareness is where this is all pointing us to. And you see that all these different pathways and all these spiritual traditions, they converge. There's one simple truth that runs through all of it. And they're just different ways of getting there, different ways of framing it, different ways of looking at it, different techniques. It's all the same. As Jesus says, it's a universal experience that's necessary. Universal theology is impossible, but a universal experience is not only possible, but necessary. That everyone comes into this experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the fourth pathway. Any questions on that? Yeah. Iona, do you have to move?
Yeah, I do.
You want to move and then do a meditation, or you're going to leave us?
I'm gonna leave you now and then catch up with this. I've got a lot to catch up with. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm recording this on the WhatsApp group, so I'm going to stop it now. Then the next recording, this one's an hour and 22 minutes. The next recording will be the meditation, so you can listen to that. Okay.
Many thanks. That was great. Thank you.
Okay.
Nice.
Thanks for joining, and we'll hopefully see you tonight or tomorrow.
I'm teaching tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
Or maybe
bye.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Okay. So, any thoughts or questions on that, Elaine? Or
it's good too. It really is.
No, it's good. It's good stuff. There's 12 pathways, and there's some real deep. That's why.
Yeah, it just makes you really think about it more and more. On a deeper and deeper sort of the deeper understanding of what this really means and what it takes to free ourselves of it.
Yeah. And it does take, a superficial look at this is not going to work.
No, not at all. Really,
it's isn't going to work. You've really got to go deep.
No.
And these practices, experientially, like observing breath,
you can read this your whole life, and I'm telling you, if you don't practice, it's worth nothing. It's just jabber.
Well, it's a start. Okay, if you know the principle, maybe you might have a little bit of awareness.
Planting some seeds for awareness.
But
maybe eventually, if the awareness grows, if your awareness grows to a point where you decide you actually want to change things, then the work can begin.
It's a difference between a theologian, someone who has a theoretical understanding. They're a theologian, they know this intellectually, or someone who's actually practiced it and experienced it. Theologian versus a mystic. Theologian can tell you the theory, can study it intellectually. I can tell you the theory. This is all good, and there's theologians in every tradition. Buddhist teachings, they have their theologians. Christian teachings, Jewish teachings. You've got lots of theologians. We know the Torah, we know the theory, we know it all. We can recite it, we can tell you, but do I know it experientially? In my own
what
experience.
I've realized is that I'm addicted to food, all sorts. I'm addicted to eating. Because I'm sitting here and thinking, oh, I should love some chocolate. I really would love some chocolate. Huh?
Right now?
Yes.
Okay.
And the whole time I've been thinking I'd love some chocolate. And then I'm like,
love some chocolate while you're doing this. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, just leave it. It's just a sensation. It's not, you don't have to have it. But I want it. I really, really want a piece of chocolate. Like I am fighting with myself. I've had to fight with myself because it's right there. It's so easy just to
you want to just. But isn't it interesting? Because we're talking about these addictive programs that then the ego is giving you. It's tempting it, saying, no, don't listen to this. Listen to me. You listen to the voice.
Go get yourself some chocolate.
Go get yourself some
chocolate.
That's
what you really need.
That's what you really need. That's really going to work.
That's what you really, really need right
this
now.
This is going to make you happy. This
right in the here and just listen to me. If you have that chocolate, you'll be have instant gratification.
Yeah.
Says the ego. Okay. So just go have your chocolate and you'll have instant gratification.
Yeah.
And isn't that what you want?
Yeah.
Yes. So what's your problem? Go get your chocolate.
Another part of your mind saying no, but that's not going to work.
Another part of mind is saying it's okay, just be with it, feel it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just a sensation.
Yeah. So the craving, it creates a sensation in the body, just craving it. And then you have the sensation of the chocolate. If you listen to that craving, that's just another sensation. But you think, oh, yeah, amazing chocolate, okay. And then it's over in a minute. You've had your piece of chocolate, and then the ego will say, why don't you just have another one?
Another piece. Exactly.
Have another piece. Have the sensation again.
Yeah, the sensation. It was very enjoyable. Don't you want to have it again?
The next sensation isn't quite as intense as the first one, because it's diminishing returns. I have a second piece. Okay, that wasn't quite as good. And then you might say, well, have a third piece. And so you go, this is addiction. You like have another piece to get your sensation.
Yeah, why did you eat that piece? Because you weren't even really craving it. But so why did you have it? And this is not good for you. So now you go on this flippin' guilt thing, which is all different.
So all of it takes you away. It takes you away from who you really are, from this true awareness, doesn't it?
I've actually realized I'm addicted to food. It's one of my addictions. I must find that I've got so many. Yeah, it's a realization.
A good realization to have, because once you become aware of it, then you can do something about it. It's okay, I'm aware of the program. That's something I need to be vigilant of, right? Addicted to food. Okay, let me just observe. Oh, okay, there's it showing up again. I want cheese, I want chocolate, I want whatever it is.
Oh, yes. Cheese.
Yeah.
Cheese and cheddar cheese would be fantastic, right?
But all of that is, you're attaching your mind to this sensational level, which is illusion, right? This is all illusion in your mind. All you're doing is you're setting up an illusion, which now is more important to you than your own pure formless awareness.
Yeah, much more important.
You're saying I choose that over eternal bliss.
Yes, because I know that it's going to give me instant gratification.
No, but then
my eternal bliss I've got to work a lot harder for. And I've got to fight my ego that's offering me instant gratification.
Yeah, and it's good to observe that and then go, these are the temptations.
Just go with the ego.
This is how the devil tempts you. The devil is the ego. It's tempting you. It's saying, no, don't listen to all this stuff. This stuff is all woo-woo and chihuahua, and it's not going to work. Just get your chocolate, man. Go get that chocolate.
It's going to make you so happy. It's what you want.
It's what you want.
It's what you want, and you can even feel how good it's going to make you feel. So just go and have it.
Yeah, you've been down that road. Like what did
down that road? It's delicious. It's lovely. It gives you that sugar rush that you crave so much, and that makes you feel so good. So go have it. What's
Yeah.
your problem? It's there. Well, I mean, there's no reason at all. What's standing in your way?
Yeah, and there's this guy called Jono who's telling you, no, don't do it.
Yeah,
Don't do
but I
it.
mean, who's here anyway?
Who's
Come
he
and
anyway?
interfere.
Yeah.
Come
What
and
is it?
interfere with your instant gratification and bliss.
Yeah. Well, so which voice are you going to listen to? That's the question. Which voice are you going to listen to? And the one,
It's like a tug of war, you know.
yeah, but there's a clear choice. You listen to the different voices. They have they tell you different things. They tell you to do different things. They take you in a different direction in your life. So which one are you going to listen to?
Yeah,
That's going to determine your experience of life now and in the future. You keep listening to the ego, well, then that's the experience you chose. And you'll keep having that same experience of desiring, craving, trying to meet it through some kind of external thing, not really being satisfied, then the pattern repeats itself. And you keep on that. And it's actually very dissatisfying, as the Buddha noted. It's dissatisfaction, dukkha.
It's a very bad addiction. I mean, thank God I haven't got like genetic issues. Otherwise, I would be. I mean, that's why so many people are overweight, because they're addicted to food, right?
Yeah. They're actually addicted.
And many people that are not, they don't not
sensation.
Overweight. I'm not overweight, but I'm addicted to food.
Yeah. So just see it and go, okay, I see it, and therefore, because I see it, I'm aware of it. I can choose to let this go. So observe as these sensations arise. Just observe sensations and let them go. I don't have to honor that. What is that craving? It's a feeling in your body. It's like, and then your mind interprets, go get the chocolate, and creates a form.
I've just got some very nice biscuits here, which are coated chocolates.
Okay, so just a little tip: when you go shopping, don't buy the stuff, because then you won't tempt yourself.
I will. I'll still say, oh shit, I wish I bought some chocolate. No, it doesn't help not to buy it. I'll still torment myself and say, no, man, you see, you should always have
some biscuits and some
munchy
chocolate.
food. Always.
Oh.
If you don't have it, you're going to suffer. So just make sure you always buy it.
Yeah, so you feed your addiction.
Yes.
Well, that doesn't matter. Start cutting it off at its roots. So whatever it is, whatever form it has in your life, start denying it. Okay, I'm not going to buy it. If I don't buy it, it doesn't exist. You see, you got to start dissipating the charge around it. And so then your mind might play tricks and say, well, I should have bought it. Okay, well, that's another letting go experience. Just let that thought go. Just
so how long does it take to fight an addiction like this? It's a big one. How long would it take me if I had to actually stop buying the stuff and just stop telling myself it's just
you know the answer to that. What do you think the answer to that is?
I don't know.
Come on, you know the answer.
What? How long it will take?
Yes. What's the obvious answer?
As long as I allow it.
Yes, exactly. How long do you want to continue with it? That's your choice. You'll continue for as long as you want to allow it. That's the truth of the matter. So you could drop it right now in the next meditation and be done with it.
Look, it's like giving up cigarettes. I'm telling you, when you make up your mind, that's how I gave it up. But you do not want seriously, that you really and truly are very serious about not. That's when you give it up.
Yeah.
It's the only way to give it up.
Yeah.
Permanently and forever.
Yeah.
When you are completely and honestly go,
no.
Really, I have no reason to go back to this.
Yeah.
So that's why that book's so good.
So the same thing.
By, what's his name? What's Alan Carr? Easy Way to Give Up Cigarettes.
I haven't read it. I've never had to.
Oh, you've never been a smoker. Okay, no. But it's a book on it. Just he repeats himself over and over and over and over and over again.
Huh.
the entire book about the reasons why you don't want to be a smoker,
Yeah.
why you find it so disgusting, and
Yeah.
all the downside.
Mm.
And but he plays with your mind as well a lot.
Mm.
Like he tempts you to go and have a cigarette. And he's very
Yeah.
clever, absolute genius
Yeah.
mind, because he
Yeah.
understands the mind.
Because he was a
So
smoker
he
himself.
tricks the mind, and he tricks the mind, play with the mind.
Yeah.
And eventually, if you finish this book, you'll give up cigarettes. If you don't finish the book, you won't give it up.
Mm. Mm.
It's absolutely true.
So you read it and you just decided.
I just decided and I finished it, and that was the end of that.
Okay. So why don't you do the same thing with food? Just decide. It's like, okay, enough. Enough
I don't
of
want
that.
this addiction.
No. Does it serve you? Does it help you in any way?
That's what I need to do. It's exactly the same feeling. Instead of a cigarette, you want chocolate.
Yeah.
Or cheddar cheese. I'm telling you, I'm very happy.
Jeez. Yeah.
I'm very happy to accept the cheddar cheese.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
mind.
Anything will do. See, anything to feed the addiction.
Anything to do with food.
Yeah. But so
As
all
long
you've
as
done
it's
is
really
you've
tasty.
transferred that addiction. You were addicted to cigarettes. Now you've transferred it to food. But it's the same pattern.
So where am I going to transfer it to when I get over the food thing?
No, just drop it. Just drop the whole thing. Drop the pattern. You don't have to transfer it anyway. There's no need to transfer. Just let it go. This is what people do. You know, they'll transfer from one area of their life to another. They go, okay, well, I'm no longer a smoker, but I still have the pattern playing out in another area of my life. So now I've got a food thing going on, because it's the same mental and emotional pattern. It's the same program. You're just using it in something else.
It'll torment you all the time. The cigarette's always there. Food's always there.
Yeah.
So it's,
taking you away from just being okay as you are now. You're like, do I want to torment myself? Continuously be dissatisfied with my current reality? Is that a way to live? Oh, I need some food to make myself satisfied. Okay. Feed my face with food, temporary satisfaction. 5 minutes later, oh, I'm not that satisfied. Okay. So the ego says, well, go feed your face again. That's addiction. Because you get a little hit, you'll feel better temporarily, and then guess what? You keep doing that. Well, you get fat, you spike your blood sugar. It's not good. The consequences of feeding addictions are not good. So
it's like what I've told you about Dr. Gabor Mate, and I keep mentioning him because he talks about all our addictions. And the fact that drug addicts have to be so stigmatized is not really fair. That just happens to be their addiction. Your sugar addiction or anything else, shopping addiction is just as serious and just as difficult to get over.
More socially acceptable than others.
Yes, and you share the same reasons why you have this addiction. So why should that be stigmatized more than anything else?
Well, this is the crazy world of the ego. It's actually all the same. If you're an addict, you're anything. You're an addict. Your addiction, food, is not socially unacceptable. You can go and you can buy cheese and chocolate and you can feed your addiction, and that's okay. If you go and buy heroin, that's a problem, right? But same thing, you're feeding your addiction. It's just, I guess, consequences are more serious. You take a heavy, powerful narcotic, it's a very serious biochemical effect. With cheese and chocolate, it's maybe less serious, but still, it's a biochemical.
It's still a negative consequence.
Yeah. Eventually, if you keep doing it, you're killing yourself. Just how fast you want to do that. Heroin, that's very fast. With cheese and chocolate, it might take another decade or two. Just depending. But if you keep overdosing on cheese and chocolate, you're saying that you want out of here. It's a suicidal thought, really. The desire is suicidal. Actually, what you're wanting is to kill yourself. Do you see that? Masked, you're hidden under the desire. It's like, actually, I want to. This is a death thought. Anything that is not spirit and not life is death. So this is a thought of death that is tempting me, and it seems to be death in a nice form. Death by chocolate.
Or cheddar cheese. Because
Or cheddar cheese. Death by cheese. Death by
I
chocolate.
haven't bought cheese in about 3 or 4 months. Okay, because I told you I was trying to get off the dairy thing altogether.
Yeah.
So now I have not stopped thinking about that cheese since I bought it. It's so delicious.
So just work with
And I've
those
become
sensations.
so aware that I'm addicted to food. I didn't realize this.
That's good. Because if you're aware of the addiction, you can do something about it. If you don't even know you're an addict, how do you resolve it? If you don't even know you've got a problem, how can you do anything about it? This is why in the Alcoholics Anonymous, and all the, based on AA, there's Narcotics Anonymous and so on, and Gambling Anonymous, and so it's the same thing. You have to, number one, acknowledge that you are an alcoholic or you are an addict. Like number one, because otherwise if I don't accept a problem, I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to carry on in the same pattern. So, you have to say to yourself, okay, I have a food addiction. Okay, I get it. I see that. I don't judge myself, beat myself up for it. It's just a pattern that I can observe. And now that I'm aware of it, I can do something about it. I can be very vigilant of this, because that's my pattern. Food. Okay, food. So observe the sensations and the emotions and the thoughts around food, and just observe them and be equanimous. It's like, okay, it's coming, it's arising, and it's passing away. And the more you do this kind of meditation, the better you'll get at that process. Just observing. Okay, so if I just observe it, the sensation arises, and I allow it just to pass away. You're not honoring it. Sooner or later, you're dissipating the charge. You're just dissipating and saying, okay, this is nothing. I'm not going to give this any power. It arises, it's a sensation in the body, and then if I sit with it for long enough, it's going to pass, because all things arise and they pass away in this world.
Well, my cravings are passing away. I've been sitting with it for a long time now.
Okay.
It's not passing.
But it will pass. It will pass. It's not going to stay forever. Because it's not true. That craving is not true. So how can it be permanent and real if it's not true? If this was true, then you would be permanently in craving. But there are times in your life where you've not been craving, correct?
There are times when I'm not craving.
So then that means that there's a state of not craving. There's a possibility for that.
Yeah, because it's not hunger. I mean, there's no reason for me to be hungry. I mean, I had some lunch.
Yeah.
It's something to eat before.
You're craving the sensation.
No, it's not hunger. It's definitely not hunger. Hunger is a different feeling.
Yeah.
This is not hunger.
So you're aware of that. Okay, just allow it. It's a pattern of addictive programming that obviously you're a smoker, so you fed that for years, and now it's just transferred to another substance. Now it's food, same pattern. He goes, okay, well, smoking didn't work. Okay, that's fine. We'll go to food. Let's just morph ourselves. Now we'll do the food thing. Because anything to keep you away from your own pure formless awareness of who you really are as you are now. Anything. It's going to use anything. And food is the thing for you. Okay, well, be aware of it and just refuse to go there. This is a mental discipline. Say, I refuse to go down that road. I'm not going there anymore because I know where that road leads me.
Yeah, geez, I'm so resistant. Even as you say,
leads me into
just give me my chocolate. So much from my chocolate.
Huh?
Sorry, John. I'm thinking I stopped. Really, I don't want to hear any more from you. I just want my chocolate.
Okay, but this is good because the ego is coming up and it's fighting, right? Remember, the ego is going to fight for its life.
Fighting for its life. It does not want to hear.
Forget this bloody course. Just have your chocolate and your cheese. And you got to laugh. It's quite funny.
Hysterical.
Quite funny. So, have a good
laugh. God, that's funny.
And just be willing to sit with it. Just say, okay, I'm going to sit with this. Yeah. Are you willing to remember the invitation? Are you willing to sit with it and not try and hide it or fade it or fix it? Are you willing to just sit with it? That's her invitation. Okay. So just sit with it. So let's do that now. We're going to meditate. Just sit with it and observe the sensation of that craving. Okay. So
I'm not really willing, but I suppose I am, or I wouldn't be doing this course.
you're still here.
I wouldn't have come
Still
back.
here.
I wouldn't have come back by now. There's definitely some willingness, or I definitely. I was sorry, Jono.
Yeah.
Like the lady who paid and never arrived at all.
Yeah, exactly. She paid me £100, £3 more than I asked for, and she just never arrived for one session. Nothing. Extraordinary. And I'm like phoning her, like just nothing. So then you go, okay, that's ego, isn't it? It's like, no, don't want anything to do with it. Just ignore him. Don't take it.
You don't have to give me my money back if you just leave me alone.
Just go away. Exactly. You got a lot.
Just don't give me that.
The
Don't
easiest
show
money
me
I
that
ever paid.
course,
She never showed up. It's extraordinary.
Oh God, it's so funny.
It just shows you the level of resistance people have.
Oh gosh. Oh Golly, we are so funny. Oh,
Yeah, you got to laugh. It is
that's
funny.
hysterical, really.
So if you can start laughing at yourself, laugh at this pattern. It's ridiculous. The ego's telling you that you need this chocolate or this cheese to be okay. And that honestly is so ridiculous. What a crazy thought. Your true, pure formless awareness, right? You created as God created you. You're perfect, you're whole, you're sinless, you're complete, you're this magnificent spiritual being. And the ego's telling you, no, you need chocolate. Or you need cheese.
Just have your chocolate and then you can carry on with the teachings once you've had your chocolate. Just have your chocolate first and then we'll carry on. I'm not saying I don't want to do the teachings. I'm just saying have your chocolate.
Yeah.
It's not unreasonable.
Okay.
Is it?
No, it's
not
totally
unreasonable.
unreasonable.
Just to, I'll
Because
come back to it.
Having the
I'll
chocolate,
come back to the teachings.
having the chocolate denies the teachings, you see. So it's one or the other. Jesus is very clear.
No, but I'll come back to it. It's just temporary.
No, but
temporary.
you just, so why if you're on a path, right? So you're on a path here, okay? You're on a path to enlightenment. There's a clear destination. It's like, right, I'm on the path. Now the ego's saying, no, turn around, go in the opposite direction for a bit, but you can come back to it. So you're going to do a U-turn, walk a little bit, take a few paces back, and then you're going to come back and you're going to turn around and you're going to carry on it's like, what is the point of that? You're not going in the right direction.
And do the U-turn again, because you're going to have the same experience.
Yeah. So keep and so where are you going to go? You're going to take 10 steps forward and you're going to take 10 steps back. Because this is what you're allowing. I'm going forward. Yeah, I like these teachings. Great. Oh no, now I have a craving. Okay, turn around, go in the opposite direction. Like, imagine if someone was on a journey doing that. You'd say they're completely insane, wouldn't you? Imagine if you observed someone and like they walk 10 steps on a path and they're going somewhere and then they turn around and they walk 10 steps back. And then they turn around and they walk 10. You go, this person's crazy. It's a dysfunctional pattern, like they're going nowhere. And you say to the person, no, you're going nowhere. No, I'll come back to it. I'll come back to my journey. I just need to go. I just need to turn around and go in the opposite direction.
Just this one time. This time I'll get through it.
And then
this time I won't have to do the U-turn.
Yeah. And then, but surely if you give in to the temptation once, the ego is going to tempt you again. And you'll be going on this, and then we go, oh, no, Elaine, just listen to me now. Listen to me. Have that chocolate. You need that chocolate now. Forget these teachings.
The cheese, I don't mind.
Whatever.
Don't forget the cheese.
It doesn't matter what it is. Because the mind's just attached to something as some kind of, it's a substitute for your true self. It's a substitute for who you really are, for the divine being that you are, for the joy and the happiness and the glory that is you. It's a substitute. It's a little self temptation that the ego is holding up.
A detour.
Say, believe in me. Believe in me instead of the truth of who you are. So what are you going to listen to? The truth of who you are or the ego? That's the choice. And you can't fudge it. There's no fudging this. It's one or the other. Oh, I'll come back to it. No, you just, in that moment, you chose the ego. That's the truth of the matter. And if you choose the ego, you choose all of it. Okay. So all the pain and the suffering and the misery and the death,
The whole package.
experience, the whole package. You choose that the moment you choose the chocolate.
The whole package.
So when you're aware of that,
the unconscious program,
yeah,
it drives
the whole
you.
thing. Yeah, you choose it all. You know, you can't choose some of it. It's the whole package. It's a package deal. So be aware of what you're choosing. You make that choice. Oh, I'll come back to the teaching. Jesus, you just chose fear, attack, hatred, all the ugliness, all the pain, all the suffering.
Just hold on a sec. Can you come? Just one sec. Can you come later? Oh, what you want to? You know what? The gardener has just brought some compost here. Can I show him where I want him to put it?
Yeah,
John,
no problem. Yeah, we'll take a quick break and then we'll go into
take a little couple, 2 minutes.
No problem. Okay, see you in 2 minutes. All right. Elaine, are you back? Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
All right.
Just getting into the garden, which is quite nice.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's go into meditation, shall we?
Yeah. By the way, I saw one of your mails where you said to me, please, about what do you call it, a sophisticated investor or whatever. You wanted me to fill out some form there. Hey.
Yeah, let's talk about that
I
later.
saw it, and then I don't know what happened. It's sort of.
All right. Yeah, let's talk about Lane. We're just being recorded on YouTube, so let's talk about that later.
Sorry.
All right. So I think let's do some. I'm going to start the recording again. So if you want to sit up.
Yes.
So just sit up. We're going to do a bit of.
Sit up.
We're going to do a bit of alternate nostril breathing. Just sitting up. So cross your legs, feet shoulder width apart. Sorry, feet crossed. So either in a cross-legged position, or you can put the soles of your feet together. Just lock the energy in. So just keep the back straight. Okay, so we're going to do some power breathing, which you've done, but you're going to do alternate nostril now. So you're going to put one hand. If you watch me, put one hand like this. Take your right hand.
Yeah.
And put your right hand. Put your right thumb on your right nostril. Okay.
Yeah, and at that.
Yeah, and then the index finger on the third eye. Okay. And then you're going to pivot. So you're going to block the right nostril with your thumb, and you're going to block the left nostril with your middle finger. Okay, so you just pivot around. Easy. That's how you do the alternate. Block the one nostril, so you're only breathing through the other.
Yeah.
Okay, so block the right nostril. Keep your back straight. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Okay, so it's into the lower stomach. Again, 3-phase breath. Clench the sphincter muscle. So you lock the energy in. Second phase of the breath into the chest. Squeeze your abdominal muscles in and down. Third phase to the upper chest and the head. So it's a maximal inhale breath again, just through the one nostril. Then keep those locks engaged. Put the chin forward on the chest. Keep the back straight. And just staying in the presence. Okay, so you're in this calm state, even though you're not breathing, for another 20 seconds. And just observe any thoughts, any emotions, and any sensations. So if that craving's still going on, just use the space to just observe it. Okay, that's good.
Now I'm suffering, I can't breathe.
So now, well, that's one way of doing it.
Thinking about my suffering, I can't breathe.
Oh well, at least your mind's been redirected to something else.
Yeah, I think I'd rather. Yeah, it's less distracting. Well, I mean, it's just. I wonder which one's more disturbing.
Well, at least with the breathing, you focus on something that's positive.
At least I'm working on something positive.
Yes, exactly. So this is the thing. It's like, what are you paying attention to?
Yeah.
If you focus on the breathing, this is why breathing's so powerful.
Takes your mind away, because I'm telling you, I had my mind. We were joking about it. We laughed about it.
Your mind is on it.
Very real.
The whole time.
That's all I wanted was my chocolate and all my cheese.
All my cheese, whichever. Yes.
My chocolate or my cheese. We could write a book on that. Should take that title down.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, exactly.
And now it's I'm in the moment. I'm doing the work in the moment, which is far preferable.
Yeah. Even
if it's challenging. It's
so not, you're focusing your attention elsewhere.
Hasn't got the addiction actually isn't in the way. It's what's in the way is more physiological habit of breathing in a certain way, which I'm not used to.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't think it's nearly as serious as the addiction.
No, this is, you're observing, you're trying to get into a practice that's going to help you to undo the addiction. And so it's unfamiliar and there's different sensations and the ego is going to resist it, but you're focusing your mind on what's constructive. The addiction is not constructive at all. There's nothing that attachment to the cheese and the chocolate that is doing for you. There's no positive thought, no positive emotion. It's not helping you in any way.
It's not going to teach me anything.
No, it's just dysfunctional. Whereas this is, okay, now you're redirecting your attention into something constructive. So here's a way out of the addiction. Whenever the addiction arises, focus on your breathing. Do a breathwork technique. Okay, addiction's arising. All right, I'm just going to watch my breath and observe sensation, observe breath. I can do that. I could do some power breathing. Just take a deep breath in, hold the breath, observe in the stillness, observe the emotion and the sensation in that 30 seconds, and then use the breath to help you let it go. Okay, I'm just going to drop that. I'm going to release it with the breath. So now you've got good ways of dealing with that addiction, but a way of dealing with the craving that is uncomfortable. Instead of honoring it and listening to the ego, do something else. Redirect your focus elsewhere.
It's a pain in the ass, eh? It is so persistent. Doesn't want to know. Not interested.
Yeah. It's insane. It's insane. It doesn't work. It's not functional.
Not interested. Just give me what I want. Give me what I want. Give me what I need.
Except it's not really what you need. See, it's not really helping you. It's not your friend. This voice is not your friend.
You need, and you're sticking to your point.
Yeah.
You're sticking with that. I think it's what you think you need, and you are happy to.
Yeah, and you fixated on that, even though it's not true.
Because it feels true, and so I stick with it.
So in other words, the truth is as I want it to be, not as it really is. That's what you're saying. Well, what's that but a denial of your true source, of God, of love? It's a denial of everything. Because I want it to be so. I want the truth to be this, so I'll believe it to be true, and therefore it is so. This is how the ego made itself up. Not like actually it's not true, and I didn't create truth. Truth is true, whether I believe it or not. Ego doesn't like to hear that. But it is the truth. The truth is true, whether Elaine believes it or not, whether you have one inkling of the truth going on in your mind or not, the truth is still there, and it's still true. And no amount of addictive programming can deny the truth. So the ego is never going to work. Can never obliterate the truth as hard as it tries. So why even go down that road?
It's not going to stop trying.
Yeah, but now you have ways of dealing with it, more constructive ways. So the breathing.
I've actually realized that I am actually out of my addiction right now for the moment. So I did get over it. Because I was convinced I was not going to get over it.
Yeah. So you always will.
I think, you know what, when I went for a little walk and I went to the garden, I started thinking about my garden.
Yes. You just redirected your focus.
Yes. And I came back, awareness was gone.
So redirect your focus. Whenever that craving arises, redirect your focus. Go somewhere else. Go into the garden. Do some breathing in the garden. You've got a lovely garden. You've got time. Go do a breath break. Listen to one of the recordings. Focus on the breathing, because you're redirecting your attention elsewhere to something that's actually constructive and that's helpful. And that's all you got to get into the habit of doing. Okay, ego's arising. I know what to do. I've got a way of dealing with this.
You know, it's because I've also really becoming very aware of this pain in my body, especially my feet. Really, really sore. And now that's gone completely as well. Whereas when I was sitting there, it was very painful. In a matter of what? Moments. But it's not like if there's anything to explain it. It's not as though I've done anything to release it. I haven't even done a meditation. What I've done is actually let go of my craving. It's helped my body, because I'm seeing I don't have pain in my body anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's a good
How
insight.
interesting is that?
Yeah. Because craving, desire and pain, desire for pleasure and pain are the same thing. It's the same thing. Same side, two sides of the same coin. The ego is trying to tell you, no, they're different. You crave pleasure, you also seek pain. You are inviting pain into your life.
As you see, I've noticed with this pain, is that it sort of comes and goes and waves through the day with nothing in particular to explain it. I think, well, he's so sore, feels so serious, and then just disappear.
It disappears. Because it's perceptual.
You know, if there's something physiologically seriously wrong, it's not just going to disappear like that, is it?
Well, all pain is in the mind. So what you're experiencing then is the truth of that. This is in my mind.
And the desire as well.
Desire, yeah, it's all in my mind. So my craving, my addiction feeds my pain. So why would I do that? Like I choose the chocolate, I choose pain. You got to start.
I must have that. Yeah, it's like a double.
Start to rewire
things. This feeling of craving the chocolate.
This isn't actually pleasure. I'm choosing pain here. I'm choosing suffering. Right? When I choose chocolate, I choose the pain in my feet. I choose all the pains in my body. I choose everything that the ego offers you. I mean, it's awful. It's an ugly thought system. But all of the pain and the suffering and the misery and the sickness and the death, everything that you don't like about the world, you choose that when you choose the chocolate or the cheese. When you realize that, you go like, what am I doing? That's just insane. Why would I choose such pain and ugliness and suffering and misery for myself when I can make another choice, a simple another choice right now? Okay, go sit in my garden, just meditate. And I can just be at peace with myself. Now you're choosing the spirit and you're choosing to let go of all of that. So you got to start to make these associations. Instead of falsely associating chocolate and cheese with pleasure and something good, you got to start to go, no, this is really not good at all. This is in fact awful. This is death I'm choosing.
This is the whole package.
Remember, death by chocolate. Use the death by chocolate, Elaine. That's what you're choosing. Because it's the whole package deal. It's not just the chocolate. Everything that the ego offers you goes with it. The pain in the body, the sickness, the suffering,
it's the inability to get into formless conscious awareness prevents you completely.
The procrastination, you drive yourself dilly. You don't do what you want to do, but you want to do it, but you don't want to do it. And you just sit and you disempower. All of that. That's what you choose when you choose the cheese or the chocolate. So why would you want to choose that?
How scary.
Why would you want to choose that?
Profound revelation.
No, when you realize what you're doing, then this is part of awakening. Like, I'm choosing this. No one's doing this to me. I choose to do this. So why would I choose to do that when I realize what I'm doing? Because you're hurting yourself. So why would you choose to consciously hurt yourself? Doesn't make any sense. You're a divine being. There's no, in pure formless awareness, there's no hurt, there's no pain, there's no suffering, there's no attack. Why would you choose that instead of pure formless awareness? Think of it this way. So there's another thing to help you. Every time you choose this, you choose your addiction, you give in to the cheese or the chocolate. It's like you're hitting your head against a brick wall. And you're thinking that's going to work. Just bang. Oh, I'm really sore afterwards. Oh, God, why is this happening to me? Oh, I'm so sore. Oh, now you go into the victim mode. And you go, oh, my body's so sore, and like my feet are sore, and like, oh, okay. But now I'm going to hit my head again. And then I'm going to complain that it's so sore. Now, if you saw someone doing that, you'd go, that's insane. Stop hitting your head against the brick wall, for God's sakes. It's not going to work. You're just causing yourself pain. You've got blood and stuff running because you keep hitting your head against the wall. Stop now. Stop. And this is what, it is funny. I mean, you've got to laugh. It is funny, but at the same time, it's tragic. If you keep hitting your head against the brick wall, expecting that that's going to work and that's somehow going to bring you some kind of pleasure, it's just insane. It's never going to work. You're just going to get more and more bloodied and more sore. And it's like at some point, you've got to stop. And this is all the spiritual teachers are saying. Okay, stop it already. Stop. No more. Just stop doing that. And I'm going to give you a way to help you to stop. Okay, so instead of when you have the desire to hit your head against the brick wall, stop and just pause and go and breathe instead. Just focus on your breathing. And just be okay with your breath and watch the breath and find that state of mind where you really don't feel the need to go and hit your head against the brick wall again. That desire just dissipates. The ego is cunning. It doesn't tell you it's a brick wall. It seems to be something nice. Chocolate is nice. This isn't a brick wall. This is nice. This is going to give you what you want.
That's going to make you happy.
It's going to make you happy. You're going to have, and it's an illusion. It's false. It's sending you down the garden path. And it may look attractive to start with.
Discomfort
if you keep
away.
going down that path, guess what? You're going to end up in a very dark place. You're going to end up in this dark, deep wood, and you're going to be lost and you're going to be confused, and it all looked good to start with, but you keep going down that path, it's taking you nowhere. The road to nowhere. It's taking you nowhere. I was in a place called McGregor. Here's another story you can remember. You'll laugh. There's a road that goes nowhere. It leads out of McGregor and it leads into the mountains, and they never completed it. So you follow that road. It looks, oh yeah, we're going somewhere. It's going to be great. And then you're going to just end up nowhere. And you're going to have to turn around and go back because the road leads you nowhere. So the ego is the road to nowhere. You choose that, you're going nowhere. You will get to a point where you hit a wall, literally, and you go, okay, I'm not going anywhere here. I have to turn around and go back. But now you've gone all the way off the path and you've got to retrace your steps. So what a waste of time. Just stay on the path. It's like, no, don't go there. Road to nowhere. You're at a fork in the road. Don't go there. It's a road to nowhere. It's not leading you anywhere. It might seem to be nice to start with. The first 100 meters looks good, but it's not. So take the other path, which may not seem to be as attractive. Oh, that one's a bit twisty and windy, and I'm not sure about that. But that one leads you to the most magnificent, mountain view and just extraordinary experiences. It may not seem that attractive now, but just go with it and you'll see.
Yeah.
So which way you're going to take. Okay, so we'll go back to the breathing. Okay, let's start again. So block the right nostril. Breathe in through the left. Into the lower stomach. So the stomach rises, notice that. Keep your back straight. Clench the sphincter muscle so you lock the energy in. Second phase of the breath into the chest. So you feel the chest rising. It's as though you're breathing into your heart center. You might feel some energy rising up the spine. Squeeze the abdominal muscles in and down. So you keep that root lock engaged, abdominal muscles squeezed. Third phase of the breath into the upper chest, and feel like you're raising it into your head. There's an energetic movement up into the head. Pause there and then lock the energy into your head by putting your chin forward on your chest. Keep the back straight, try and stay still. And just hold it for 30 seconds. So now in this quietness, observe. Okay, so just observe sensation. What's going on in the body? Any sensations? Might be a bit of discomfort. Just observe it without reacting. All right? Anything emotionally, you might notice that as a sensation. Notice that. Notice any thoughts. Keep the chin forward. Okay, just a few more seconds. You're doing really well. So now you're going to switch it. Block the left nostril with your middle finger out through the right nostril and release the locks. Slow, smooth exhale out the right nostril. Let the energy to the side.
I just lose my breath completely.
Okay, so it's practice. Okay, it's practice. So ideally, you want to get.
I couldn't even get it to a point of. That's why I just think it's better to start with smaller, because that was from the time we started that exercise to the point we got to.
About a minute.
It was probably about a minute.
Yeah.
Whereas
but
the whole
breathing
thing
in
needs to be about. Yeah, the whole process needs to be initially about a minute. I feel. Otherwise, I don't know, it's pushing it too hard, I think.
No, well, go with where you can do. So
Yeah,
do,
say maybe
do it
15, maybe
15
50, maybe 15. So maybe a minute for the whole process. For me is manageable now, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So let's try that. So
Okay.
because you want to try and keep the form going.
Yeah, I just want to get the consistency of the full 15 seconds each consistently. I'll be happy.
Yeah. Okay. Then you'll be happy.
I'll be so fucking far from happy, you have no idea.
It's just funny. Then I'll be happy. Yeah. When I get the breathing right, then I'll be happy.
That's 15 seconds.
That 15 seconds is the golden thing to be happy. Yeah.
Oh God, we are so funny.
Honestly, just observe, observe and laugh at yourself, because it is funny. When you're laughing at yourself, you're letting go of that old self. Okay, so block the left nostril.
The left. Breathe in through the right.
Breathe in through the right. So block the left with the middle finger. Breathe in through the right, stomach rising, clench the sphincter muscle into the middle chest. Squeeze abdominal muscles in and down into the upper chest. Try and relax the shoulders so you're not creating any muscle tension there. So it's a muscle control as well. You're just engaging with the muscles that need to be engaged with, not anything else. Okay, so you pause and you hold here for 15 seconds. And just be aware in this 15 seconds of what's going on in your body. Notice sensations, notice emotions that are connected to them, notice any thoughts. And now you're going to switch. So block the right nostril with your thumb and exhale out the left. So exhale, nice smooth exhale. Try and do it over 10 or 15 seconds. Just nice smooth flowing breath. The bottom of the exhale, pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And sit here. See if you can hold it for 5 or 10 seconds. Okay, and observe emotion, sensation, thought. Whatever it is, and then move smoothly into the next inhale. So block the right nostril, keep it blocked with your thumb, breathe in through the left. So into the lower stomach, blow that up like a balloon, squeeze the sphincter muscle, lock the energy in. Breathe into your heart center, raise the energy up, and into the chest, final sip of air. Chest. Okay, try not to, don't tense your shoulders. Relax those shoulders. Don't do that. That's going to create a lot of muscle tension. Okay, and then just hold. And in these holds, just observe. What are you observing? Thought, emotion, sensation. What's arising? And truth be told, if it's not helpful, you can just let it go. So block the left nostril, exhale out the right, and just let it go. Try and keep your chin level as you do that. Blow it out and just feel like you're letting go. Okay.
That's where I have my problem.
In the chest. Yeah. So if you were a smoker for many years.
Breath, and then when you've got to take the next in breath, it's like you're out of breath. And you.
Yeah. So it's practice. Did you smoke for many years?
Yeah, but I wasn't a very hectic smoker. I'm actually very good at, at yoga. When I can hold, like I'm telling you, on the in breath, it's fine. I can hold for ages.
Yeah. So out breath.
I can. It's the out breath. I think my breath is much better than most people on average on the in breath. I can hold for at least a minute, at least 2 minutes, maybe quite comfortably. But when I breathe out, and there's nothing. It's like, and then I just like got this impulse to breathe in. And then to breathe out again, it's just like I'm out of breath. So
just practice.
So I just need to practice. But I see, it's I need a lot of practice.
Okay, so block the left nostril in through the right. Breathing into the lower stomach. Stomach rises, clench the sphincter muscle, lock the energy in. Draw it up into the chest. Third phase of the breath into the upper chest and the head. Chin forward on the chest. Keep those locks engaged. So you're locking sphincter muscle, squeezing abdominal muscles, chin forward. And just hold it and observe whatever's arising, sensation in the body, any emotions, any thoughts. Hold it for another few seconds. Okay, so block the right nostril with your thumb and then out through the left. Nice smooth exhale, releasing all the locks, blowing it all out. Smoothly, the bottom of the exhale, pull the lower stomach into the spine. So you're completely empty, hold it for as long as you can. Again, observe sensation, emotion, and thought. See if you can come into just a quietness. There's just awareness without much thought and emotion going on. And then breathe into the left, smoothly into the left. Okay, and then don't hunch your shoulders. Relax, relax. You're creating all kinds of muscle tension there. You don't want to do that. Okay, so the only thing that needs to move is your lower stomach. Your chest is going to expand slightly, but the shoulders really don't need to hunch up. If you do that, you create a whole lot of tension there, which is actually going to defeat the purpose. You want to open the energy channels up, not constrict them with all of that tension. So just holding for another few seconds, observe thought, emotion, and sensation quantumously, and then block the left nostril with your middle finger out through the right. Keep the chin level as you do that. Nice, smooth flowing exhale. Over about 10 seconds, pull the lower stomach into the spine. And you're breathing in into the lower stomach. Clench the sphincter muscle to the middle chest, relax, just try and relax all the muscle tension. You're getting very tense. You want to be very relaxed, and so it's just very focused. Your muscles that are needing to work are working. Your diaphragm, your chest is expanding. Breathe into the upper chest. Don't hunch, be aware, don't hunch your shoulders up. Just relax. Chin forward on the chest. Keep the back straight, keep those locks engaged. So you're very relaxed. Observe thought, emotion, and sensation in the gap between breaths. Find some equanimity. So even in intensity. Okay, don't hunch, Elaine. You're creating so much tension in your body that way. Relax. And exhale. Exhale out through the left nostril. Okay. Exhale out through the left. Try and keep, when you're exhaling, keep your chin level. It's going to help the air to flow in and out when you're breathing. You only do the locks in between the breaths. And you breathe out. And you let it go. And just pause here. So just do a couple of minutes of deep diaphragmatic breathing. So just through both nostrils, just breathing in and out. Through the nose, just observing breath flowing in to the nostrils and then flowing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Stomach rises and the stomach falls. Observe the sensations in your nostrils. Bring all your attention into your nostrils. Lots of sensation. The air flowing in and the air flowing out. Notice the sensation the tip of your nose, in this area just below your nose, between your nose and your upper lip. Just focus all your attention here for a couple of minutes, breathing in silence. Okay, so you can take the hand away. Just breathing through both nostrils, just getting into flow. So after that intensity, the idea is just to relax, breathe, watch your breath, and allow the breath just to happen. So this isn't, you're not trying to control the breath, you're just observing the breath. Just watch the breath. As you watch the breath, just observe your sensations. Breath flowing into the nostrils, breath flowing out of the nostrils. Stomach rises, chest rises, and then exhale, process reverses. So just observe, as you keep watching the breath, observe how you're feeling in the body. So from the crown of your head, you just take your awareness down through the back of your head, through your face, relaxing your jaw. So observe the sensations in the face. And you just keep breathing in the background. That's just happening. Breath just happening to you as you observe all the sensations on the skin. And then there's a deeper sensation in the body. There might be a feeling of energy, a tingling energy. Do you notice? Let your awareness flow into your neck. Notice any tension in your neck and your shoulders. Just being equanimous to it. Whatever you notice, you just observe it. And don't interpret it and judge it as something that's real, that's needing some kind of action from you. You just allow it to sit there and be. Let your awareness flow down from your neck and shoulders into your upper arms, your biceps and your triceps, down through your forearms, your wrists, your hands, your fingers. Let your arms hang lumpily and heavily with your body. And just be in that awareness. This awareness flow into your back up through your fingertips, through your hands, your wrists, your forearms, your elbows into your upper arms, your triceps and your biceps, to your neck and your shoulders. You notice any tension there, just observe it honestly and don't react to it. Just allow it to be, and as you exhale, you just have a sense of letting it go, just releasing it. Keep watching your breath, observing the breath flowing into the nostrils and out of the nostrils. It's happening in the background of your awareness. Let the sensation flow down into your chest and upper back. Your lower back and your stomach. Nice warm, comforting feeling there. Observe whatever sensation is there. And just what you're feeling in your buttocks, so your groin, back of your thighs, your quadriceps. Your knees. Try not to scratch, don't fidget, just sit. So whatever the sensations are, the idea is you just observe them. Any temptation to move, to fidget, just relax your shoulders, just drop it all. Observe the sensations in your knees, shins, calves, surface of the skin, and then deeper in the body. If there's any gross sensations, pain, then just observe it. Just a sensation, that's all it is. So you don't name it, judge it, label it. Just observe it, and its power starts to dissipate. Observe a sensation in your feet, tips of your toes. Aware of your whole body. It's only one field of energy. You're just aware of a holistic feeling. Your entire body has a feeling. Notice that. There's nowhere else to go and there's nothing else to do. Just observe. And the stillness and the quietness. And breathing in again. So just sweep your awareness in a single inhale up through your feet, your toes, your shins, your calves, your knees, upper thighs, back of your thighs. To your groin, your buttocks, to the lower stomach, lower back, chest, your right center, the upper chest. Into neck and your shoulders, through your arms. Just noticing all the sensations. And your head, back of your head, crown of your head, face, jaw, noticing everything you're feeling. Without judgment, you just observe it equanimously. And just sit for a minute or two and just observe. Observe the breath, observe the sensations of the breath, observe the sensations in your whole body as a single energy unit. Zooming out and just coming into a state of pure formless awareness. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, just breathe, relax, and be still. And observe for a minute or two in deep silence. Just observe the sensations in the body and the breath. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. Nothing else to think about for the next 2 minutes of deep silence. Just observe. If any thoughts arise, any sensations, just observe them. See them as just cloud patterns. They're just coming, they're rising, they're passing away. Just let them do that, just arise and pass away. The nothingness they really are. Blowing them away with the breeze of your breath and sinking back in. In a still, calm, quiet state. Just observe the breath for another minute or so of deep silence. So just gently coming back. This deep connected state, and on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Noticing any thoughts and any emotions, any sensations. Anything that's not helpful, just let it go. Float away with the breeze of your breath. The nothingness that it really is. Just releasing it. Sitting, constantly noticing the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, to the floor, count of 2. And just what you're feeling and touching with your hands, your skin, subtle flow of air, heavy on your skin. Breathe that air in, notice any smell in your nose, any taste in your mouth. Notice what you're hearing, surrounding environment. And just noticing all these things without judgment. No interpretation, no labeling, no judging. Notice how peaceful it is when you perceive the world in this way. The more you notice the state, the more it becomes your default state. You anchor the state into your awareness. And on the count of 3, open your eyes. Just take a minute to look around. You can open your eyes, Elaine. Just take a minute, look around in this very aware state. Just observe various objects in the room around you. And that if you don't name them and judge them and label them, what underlies all of them is just the same awareness. The same awareness you had when your eyes were closed is the awareness that you have when your eyes are open. Strangely enough, because your awareness is not dependent on your physical sight or any of your senses. It's deeper than that, it underlies that. So even while you're continuing on in this illusion of the physical senses, you can stay rooted in this awareness and just not let any cravings, any desires for sensory experience or any aversions really affect you. Just stay in this awareness. And to keep you there, just stay rooted in your breath. Breath awareness. So that brings us to the end of this meditation and the session. Thank you, Elaine. I enjoyed that. It's a good session. And if you want to have a quick chat, I'll just stop the recording so we can have a chat. Okay, so let me just stop recording.